JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into another edition, what could be a historic edition of the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. You can reach him at palermopa.com. We are eagerly awaiting the mayor's press conference, and Mayor Welch said he's going to provide some, quote, clarity on the Rays situation this morning as he picks a developer for the Tropicana Field site. Welcome into the JP Peterson Show. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, so here's the plan today. We are going to monitor this press conference. We're hoping to bring it to you live through the City of St. Pete website. They are going to carry this live. So we're also monitoring Bay News 9, and we'll let you know as soon as it starts. We'll try to bring it to you live. Nick Geddes from Outkick.com joins me this morning. Sir, how are you?
I'm doing well as we anticipate whatever this announcement is going to be.
Yes.
Have seen a few lingering reports of what it already is.
What are you seeing?
I think the Rays focusing on the Pinellas area now.
Yes.
And something adjacent to the Trop is what they're going for.
Peter Schorsch.
Yes, Peter
I believe
Schorsch.
his name. He is the publisher of FloridaPolitics.com. Very learned in the St. Pete government. Knows a lot of the folks. He tweeted out, also according to several Pinellas County, the mayor is on. Do we have the live feed? Can we get that?
Efforting that here.
Okay, it's not. We'll try the Bay News 9 site as well. This is standing out in front of Tropicana Fields. Sorry, we're going to have to go back and forth with this morning. Ken Welch, of course, the new mayor taking over for Rick Kreisman. And he has been zeroed in on this redevelopment of the Tropicana Field site and talked a lot about affordable housing. Talking about the historic nature of the Tropicana Field site where he grew up, and a lot of the black neighborhoods were mowed down to make room for the Tropicana Field site back in the day. And he has said in the article in the St. Pete Times that he would add clarity to the situation for the Rays. So we're waiting to hear. Do we have the live feed? We are efforting the live feed.
Yeah.
Let me, and he's just kind of doing the preamble here right now.
Out. So now I think we should be good now. We
All
should
right.
be good now.
All right, we're good to go here, and the mayor is not good to go. So technology today, right? So it appears that they're going to delay this announcement, whatever it is. How ironic or absolutely fitting it is that on the day we may learn what the fate is of the Rays, that Mayor Welch cannot even get the big announcement out.
Hey, I mean, we said it on our side of things today. It was going to be fluid. It appears everything is fluid now. So we will.
We're getting a
wait.
network error.
We will wait
from St. Pete TV where we're trying
exactly.
to get the feed.
So I'm not the only one that I got the network
So-
error.
So anyway, yesterday what I went into was it just feels like Stu Sternberg is negotiating in bad faith once again. He basically just asked Hillsborough County and said, "Tell me how much money you can give us," and that's what. And Hillsborough County is like, "Look, it's not the way this thing works. We have to work hand in hand. We have to know what site you're looking at, what your parameters are. There's an issue with the height of the roof at the K4 site, so they may have to move it to another site." But not all, that height restriction is not all of Ybor City. It's so there can't be other sites. The other site that they originally chose had no such issues with that. So in that site, not specifically, but other sites like right around that, I've been told can work for it as well. So those are still open. Daryl Shaw, the developer of that owns most of that land in Ybor City, wants that baseball stadium to be there. So he is, as he moves forward with his development, keeping certain sites open if the Rays were so inclined to do that. So the K4 site is not the only site that they are going to look at. So there still are available sites there in Hillsborough County. So and given what Peter Schorsch put out, I'm not sure if I finished his whole tweet. He said, according to several Pinellas County elected officials, leadership of Rays baseball has told them that they are now focused on remaining in Pinellas County, specifically at a site adjacent to the current Tropicana field. Team wants to be involved in redevelopment plans. So what it sounds like, if this report is accurate, that the redevelopment is going to go forward without a stadium. And if that's what the announcement is today, and then the clarity is the Rays are, quote, focused on St. Petersburg and an adjacent stadium, that means absolutely nothing. So I'll tell you that ahead of time. It means absolutely 100% nothing. What it means is Stu Sternberg is committing to absolutely nothing because he has been, quote, focused on Ybor City and the Tampa side for 12 years. Now, I tweeted out yesterday back the ABC Coalition press conference that he did 12 years ago, where he stated unequivocally, you cannot ignore the facts. Baseball cannot survive long-term in downtown St. Petersburg. That's what he said. And he has repeated that multiple times. And it's as obvious as the nose on your face. Why? And again, this has nothing to do with the wonderful downtown that is St. Petersburg. It is amazing. It is growing, and frankly, doesn't need a baseball stadium. And doesn't. If Mayor Ken Welsh, who I think will go this route, would much rather put up affordable housing and do things that are much more specific to his constituency. His constituency is not interested in spending $600 million on a baseball stadium. I don't believe that. I think his polling probably shows that. You can look on Twitter and see all the people that have piped up and say, well, if you choose St. Pete, we're not using any tax money for it. And even when the Rays announced 10 years ago they wanted to build a waterfront stadium at Al Lang, the city of St. Petersburg, the residents of St. Petersburg put out signs saying not on our waterfront. That has never been a constituency that is gung-ho about building a baseball stadium. There was never a vote to build a baseball stadium at build Tropicana Field because it would have failed miserably. That was done by local city council that wanted to get, quote, in the race with Tampa because Tampa had the Bucks. And so they built it, and they shouldn't have built it, to be quite honest. Baseball told them not to build it because of the demographics and the population center. It's on the edge of the market, and they have a rule. You got to have at least 1.2 million people within a 30-minute drive, and the Trop, as you all know, is 650,000. And by the way, I'm no genius, but I can tell you that there's not going to be any growth to the west of St. Petersburg. How do I know this? I can see a map. So unless we're going full water world, there's not going to be any development west of St. Petersburg near the stadium. And there's not going to be any development east of it, at least for the continuous, I don't even know how wide the bay is. What is it, 10 miles, 15 miles? I don't know. Whatever it is. It's surrounded by water. There's no room for increased population. Somebody tweeted at me yesterday, well, as much as St. Pete is growing right now, it's going to be as big as Tampa soon. And so as you look at a map, there's this big open space, not open, but this big space between Orlando and Tampa where if you drive I-4 now, and if you get off of I-4 and go on any of the satellite roads near I-4, that I-4 corridor is slammed with nothing but construction of housing developments. And people are not going to stop moving to Florida. And you know where they're going to move? Right in that area. That I-4 corridor is going to explode in population, is already exploding, and will continue. And that's where you're moving the stadium, closer to the Orlando population center, closer to the Lakeland. That whole I-4 corridor is going to be one big city in about 10 years, one continuous city.
And what about all the development they've done in like the Wesley Chapel area,
Yes.
which is just on the fringe of
Huge
Tampa?
Pasco County.
There's a lot of footprint there as
and
well.
look down on Apollo Beach where you live. I mean,
Yeah.
there's huge developments down there.
Yeah.
Those are all more accessible to downtown Tampa. And there's plenty of land out there that will continue to be built on. And by the way, this stadium, you have to project out for 30 years how it's going to be used. And clearly, if you're moving it at a half hour in rush hour traffic, 45 minutes to an hour closer to those population centers, of course you're going to get more people. And again, you know, we talked about this yesterday about what is, quote, successful. Is it? I said it's a failed location because of lack of attendance. People are saying, well, it's successful. They're making money and they're winning. Absolutely. Completely agree with you. What is your definition of success? Well, my definition of success for a baseball team is to serve the baseball fans of this community. And if you're going to use tax dollars, you should do it for what's best in the best interest of the entire region, not just one specific city. And we know that this is a failed location because of the attendance issues. Yeah, a bright, shiny new stadium and entertainment district would be fantastic, and it would certainly draw more fans in the near future. But for the most part, not in the long term. You know, once the honeymoon of the new stadium wears off, you still have a bad location that's only going to get worse with more traffic and more density. So it's not a forward-thinking plan. And if what happens today, what I think is going to happen today, which is with them saying that they're going to move ahead with the development and the Rays are, quote, focused on Pinellas County, then that's what you're going to. That's my analysis is going to be. This means absolutely nothing. This is still Stu Sternberg delaying, and trying to get more leverage and more money out of Hillsborough County, where he eventually is going to land, and has always said that that's the space that he wants to be in. For him to completely reverse course and go against everything, all the demographics and everything he said for 12 years as far as location, it just is bizarre. The only thing I can tell you is maybe there's some private money coming in that is going to pay for the whole stadium. And I've heard rumors of that, which would be, again, a disaster for whoever's investing in that, because it's just, you can't build a complex like that with so much investment and not have it centrally located. It just makes no sense. So we'll see how it goes down today. At this point, I guess it's still delayed. Are you seeing anything?
Yeah, as far as I know here, it's still delayed. Don't see any updates. Bay News 9 is currently on commercial. Their live stream is still not up. So are we surprised by that? Not really.
We're not really surprised by that. No. And this is a monumental announcement. I feel so bad for Mayor Welch that this is a huge day for him. And for this to go this long awaited to go down like this is ridiculous.
Yeah. I thought one of the things here that Peter Shore pointed out, and I don't know if you saw this tweet as well, in regards to why they would kind of still go with the St. Pete route, the TV deal is what he says keeps the Rays afloat.
Well, duh.
And they should just play in the TV studio and they would just be fine, right? And I don't know if that's kind of the way that Stu has looked at this. Like, I'm making money hand over fist. I think we mentioned that yesterday.
Well, again, yeah.
I mean, but then again, it's like, that's great
for him. Yeah.
Who else is that great for? Is it fair to the players to play in an empty dome?
No.
More often than not?
No.
Is it fair to the fans that go and are diehards that have to look around and it's like you could hear a pin drop at every time you're at that ballpark? Is it fair to them?
No.
The atmosphere that's like dead to a lot of people.
And a new stadium will certainly change that a little bit, but it's not gonna, it's not going to be materially a huge increase in attendance because of location.
Yeah, if this is really the thing they're going after, just taking it at face value here, I I need someone to convince me other than money, which I understand probably is the only. You could tell me it's because of money, and I will go, okay, that's fine. But other than that, what is the advantage to building a ballpark right next to the Trop site? I need someone to explain it to me, given the last, 23, 24 years of history.
Yeah.
I just can't. That's what I'm saying. It's like everybody's talking about money, and I get that because at the end of the day, it's about money. I got all
For
that.
Stu.
Yeah, I got all that. But removing money from the equation, give me an upside to building a ballpark in St. Pete. I need someone to tell me.
I mean, I've said this for years and years. We don't have to do this like Miami did. Miami did this in the worst fashion. It was all political. It was a disaster in terms of the financing of the ballpark. It was, and then the site that they pick was so the Miami people that were paying for it could have it in their area. It was such a screwed up process. And I said, we don't have to do that. We can be smarter. But yes, Stu Sternberg has continued to make this a joke of a process. And even when he went down the road in Ybor back in 2018, he never fully engaged with the process. And when he was told he has to pay half, he took his ball and he went home. And that's all we've ever asked is, why don't you stand up and pay for half of the stadium? And he's never committed to that. Now, I've been told through his officials that he would be willing to pay for half the ballpark if the deal was right. And candidly, and I've said this before, the first go round, Hillsborough did not have all of their I's dotted and T's crossed in that deal because they were only basically given 6 months to put the financial deal together. People say, oh, they had 3 years. No, they didn't. The Rays didn't decide on a site until 2.5 years, a site and a plan until 2.5 years into the 3-year window. So they had about 6 months to put all the financing together, and they came up with a nice framework, but it wasn't solid as it probably should be. Everybody admits that, but again, they only had 6 months to do it. This time around, I think they've got a better feel of what they can do. And it looks like right now, even off the top, it's $300 million that they're going to be able to find in tourist taxes and user fees. And that's without computing any of the development rights into the equation, the long-term development rights and the money that's going to come in from the special district taxing, where if you have a beer, it's like in Texas Live or in the Battery, there's a little charge at the bottom, and that's for the special taxing district. You have a beer, a quarter of the price goes to building the stadium or paying off the stadium bonds, and same with food, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the more tax revenue that comes in by building right now, you have some empty warehouses on a lot of that land, and you're not making any money in terms of property taxes. You put up a 400 unit condo there with units going at $1 million. You do the math on the new property taxes that's going to bring into the coffers. That's huge money, and that's what's happened in Cobb County. You look at the office buildings, the retail shops, all these things that aren't there right now will be paying property taxes and sales taxes, and all that money can go towards the funding of the ballpark. And right now, they don't know, what the plan is, what the design is, because the Rays aren't talking to them. And they're saying, look, we're not just going to say we'll throw $300 million. We want to have an integrated plan and work hand in hand with you, like the Braves did, like the Rangers did, like everybody who does a new stadium. But Stu Sternberg doesn't want to operate that way. He wants to operate in the shadows. He wants to operate and be very disingenuous and tell people one thing and do another. And so what do I expect from this press conference this morning, if they ever get it going, is that Mayor Welch is going to move ahead with the redevelopment of the Trop, and the Rays are going to be, quote, focused on staying in St. Pete, which means absolutely nothing. He's not committing to anything. He's certainly not committing to anything contractually, but we'll see. If they do have a baseball stadium within the plan and the mayor is going to move forward with that, what is going to be the taxpayer side of that? Is that something that's going to be palatable to the St. Pete residents? I would probably say no. So we'll see. Again, do we have anything yet?
We're still delayed.
Still delayed.
We are still delayed.
I see nothing anywhere. So we will continue to wait. All right, now we got other stuff to get into. Obviously, the Rays on the field last night lose to the Brewers 5-3. And, of course, the fire Kevin Cash people were out last night in force after he takes out Shane Baz after 94 pitches, well over probably what they wanted him to pitch last night in his fourth start back from an elbow injury. I didn't have a problem with them taking him out. And Whistler, who's hasn't given up runs in 11 of his last 12 outings, has been really, really good. He didn't get the job done last night. He had a kind of a flat slider, and they were ready for it. And maybe Ozzie Timmons and Willie Adames and all those guys, they know what Whistler's all about, right? They went up there looking for the slider, and they ambushed it. 8 pitches later, two-run homers, and the Rays are done because their offense is, well, if Paredes isn't hitting home runs, then they have no offense, evidently.
Yeah, there's no sense in coming out here and raising my voice and screaming and hollering about Shane Baz being pulled out. Don't get me wrong. When it happened, I might have been yelling at my TV just a little bit.
Oh, it sucks.
It sucks because, but you have to understand it is his 4th start back from surgery. He's still very young. How many games has he really pitched in baseball? Like not even a full season's worth yet.
Right.
So I get it. It's June. It's an interleague game. I'm mindful of all that. And Matt Whistler, of all the guys in the bullpen there, he's one of your more reliable arms. He is. I know he's kind of a one-trick pony with the slider, and clearly they had the scouting report writes to me. It's an easy scouting report, but he just left his slider up two times too much. And the Brewers took advantage of it. They're a good ball club, but yeah, when the Rays get down 4-1 in the 6th inning, as it's kind of been lately, I just kind of concede the fact that, that game's over. And the Rays did battle back, but the Brewers bullpen is one of the best in baseball. And my God, did you see the 9th inning? The at-bats against Josh Hader?
Hader's good. Hader's good.
He's the best reliever in baseball. They didn't even put up a fight.
That last swing by Mejia, and I know he's just trying to spoil a pitch and foul it off, but that was kind of representative of the Rays' offensive effort last night.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if we can get the
Welch is back on here on the TV. Let's see if the stream's getting up here.
Yeah, and you can try the Bay News 9 site as well. They may have the stream going as well. All right, he's got his stick in his hand again.
What is the stick for?
A reminder of a community that existed here in the gas plant area. Do we have the Bay News 9? You can try that website as well. I think many people believe to be sacred land. As a county commissioner, I was fully engaged in the current RFP process, attending meetings and presentations, speaking with the Kreisman administration and prospective development groups in my role as the county commissioner whose district was based in St. Petersburg. I'm impressed with the efforts from the 2 finalists in the current RFP process, Midtown Development and Sugar Hill Community Partners. They have listened to our community and have responded with their vision of development on these 86 acres in accordance with our community needs in terms of housing, office space, meeting space, green space, and impactful economic development. There's also been robust community engagement in developing a vision for this generational project. However, our environment has changed in many ways since the initial RFP was issued in July of 2020. And we must ensure that the RFP meets our current environment and realities and incorporates the most up-to-date information. The pandemic has changed the way we work and has affected the potential need for office space. This is just too good to be true. It's so ironic.
Rental housing and home ownership has skyrocketed, bringing a higher priority to the need for affordable and workforce housing, both on this site and off-site. Supply chain and labor issues are impacting the cost of capital projects. The need for intentional equity and equitable development is highlighted by results from the city's disparity study and the structural racism report completed after the issuance of the RFP. And the community's desire for equity is reflected in the community benefits model adopted by City Council last year and being implemented right now. There have been many positive developments. My administration has focused on building relationships with our key partners, including City Council, Pinellas County, the communities, and the Tampa Bay Rays. Significant progress is being made with our partners towards developing the right model for the historic gas plant area redevelopment, focused on inclusive progress for our entire city. One of the main questions is the Ray's involvement in the development process and the directly, we're on the main corridor, so we'll just work with it. One of our main questions is the Ray's involvement in the development process and the directly related question of whether the development will include a stadium. As our council accurately stated last year, the question of the Rays is critical to developing the right plan for development of these 86 acres. We understand we have a true, real-time constraint with the expiration of the Rays lease in 2027, and we are very mindful of that. However, this is a generational project that has to be done right, and we can't focus solely on getting it done as quickly as possible at this point, after so many years of delay and debate. The gas plant promises are more than 3 decades old, and the community has been waiting a long time for the promised benefits made with respect to the sacrifice of the gas plant community. A few more months is a relatively short time to make sure that we are choosing the right path. And I am optimistic that we will choose that right path. That path that will bring jobs, equitable and diverse business opportunities, meet our needs for housing, meeting space, and innovative economic drivers, and support a state-of-the-art home for the Rays for decades to come. In order to incorporate these new realities and build the best path for progress for our city, I believe we need a new RFP. This new RFP process will build on the current RFP, work on an expedited timeline, and better reflect our current vision, relationships, and environment. Importantly, this new RFP will guide us to certainty on the stadium issue and will give the Rays an opportunity to be a full partner in the process and give our community another opportunity to weigh in on our path forward, informed by our current realities, opportunities, and challenges. Therefore, I am terminating the current RFP process and have instructed my staff to target the release of a new RFP by mid-August with the selection of a master developer by the end of this year. Our future is bright, and I am excited that we are moving to this next phase of this journey for inclusive progress at the historic gas plant site. Thank you all for joining me this morning. I'd be happy to take a few questions.
So they're delaying it. And as I told you, the Rays don't give a crap about his June 30th deadline, and they wouldn't commit to anything.
Much in our environment has changed, including a strong statement from the community on equity, with the community benefits agreement, with the structural racism study, with the disparity study. That needs to be updated. But more importantly, we feel that the community needs to be able to weigh in once again. Remember, July 2020 was mid-pandemic. We want to have community conversations again to get more community input. And as council rightly stated, the Rays Stadium question has to be answered, and the partnership with the Rays has to be rebuilt. This is the community's vision for 86 acres, and the Rays vision has to work with that. I'm very optimistic that it can. We've had very productive conversations. So we feel a new RFP is what we need to do right now to set our path straight, and we can get that done this year.
The question is, the other mayors have had extensive conversations with the Rays, and it's gone nowhere. Why do you think you're going to do any better?
Conversations in December before I was sworn in. More than 500 people came to USF, came online and weighed in. I don't believe we've heard from all parts of the community, given the fact that so many of the presentations were during the pandemic. And now we are in a better place in the pandemic, and I think more folks will weigh in. But again, this axe handle is about 40 years old, and it was used for a business here at the gas plant. I don't believe waiting another few months to get this right is unreasonable.
to expect that Midtown and Sugar Hill will participate again?
They're certainly free to do that, and we hope they will. The question was, do I expect Midtown and Sugar Hill to bid again? We hope that they will. They're certainly open to do that. This is an open RFP process, and I think there are many folks who are with the certainty of the Rays partnership and participation would be willing to bid on this RFP. Let me get another question.
Is it in your mind that the Rays will want to be a part of this and will say they want to play in St. Pete versus Monroe County?
I think St. Pete is the best opportunity for the Rays. I've said that publicly. I've said that privately. The Rays are here today. I think that's a signal that our relationship is vastly improved. Pinellas County is a part of this conversation. We've had ongoing meetings with them as well. When you look at what's happening in downtown St. Pete and the growth that's moving west, this is an opportunity to put the new Rays home right on the edge of a burgeoning downtown. And so I think the Rays will have interest. You'll have to ask them that question directly.
Sorry, I can't hear the questions here.
So staff is working on the RFP, and we'll release details on that as they come forward. But when you talk about the promises were for this sacrifice of moving, dislocating businesses, homes, residences, there will be business opportunities, there will be jobs. None of that happened. And so those are the primary promises that I'm thinking about. And when I look at recognizing the sacrifices of the gas plant community, it's not a plaque or a trail. It's ongoing economic support and rebuilding the community that was there and has been dispersed. And so that's the kind of detail I'd like to see. I think we have plenty of time. It's 2022. I plan to select a developer by the end of this year. And that gives us, I think, plenty of time to work out a deal that is best for the community and best for new Rays Stadium as well.
So, Mayor, what you're saying is we're basically not going to know where the Rays are going or staying until perhaps
I'll look at it the other way. We're 6 months away from real certainty, and we've been waiting decades to get there. I'm really optimistic about where we are. Any other questions? I would hope that the Rays would be a partner in responding to this proposal. There are a number of ways that they can do that. One of the problems with the other RFP is no one can say exactly where the Rays wanted to be on this 86 acres. We need certainty on where the Rays want to be, what their vision is, and how it fits into the overall vision for this 86 acres. That is what this RFP will allow us to do, as well as incorporating those other elements that I talked about, including equity, including getting more community input, and making sure that we're in line with our council, with our county commission, and the other partners.
Will the Rays have input on this RFP?
The Rays are here, so I think you'll have to ask them what their plans are. But since I took office, and really before as a county commissioner, we've always had a good relationship with the Rays. I think we can put together the best package, working with our county partners and our city council, for a Rays Stadium on this site that blends into what's happening in downtown St. Pete and the overall vision of what the gas plant district redevelopment has to bring back to the community.
Is reopening the RFP process also a legal strategy to avoid any potential litigation from it?
Reopening the RFP process is, in my view, the best path to get us to the right decision for our city. And all those factors I talked about are a part of that. Yeah.
Is this ultimately back to square one?
Absolutely not. It's building on everything we've learned, but it is issuing an RFP that's based on our current realities. Our world has changed a lot in 2 years, whether it's office space, whether it's the relationship with our key partners, those things have changed. I think we'll get folks now involved in the process in the community who weren't going to come out in 2020 and 21 in the midst of the worst of the pandemic. I think we'll get that input. And so it's about making sure we've got the right plan for where we are in 2022.
Mayor Welch,
Yeah.
have you talked to any of the businesses who are already in there? And you know they have really exciting businesses in there, and what they would like
In there, meaning inside the trial.
Yes, inside the trial.
We haven't had that conversation.
All right, we'll continue to monitor this and see if the Rays come to the podium. I doubt they will. Basically, what the mayor is saying is they're going to open the RFP process again, which is basically going out to all the developers and saying, okay, you can all bid again. So they're going, it doesn't appear like he says it's not square one, but it kind of appears that way. And did I not call this? Did I not say that the Rays will not respect his deadline of June 30th? And I feel for the mayor. I really do, because it is a lot of pressure here and everybody wants to get it right. And I think, getting it right is better than doing it right now. Absolutely. He's spot on with that. And there have been a lot of changes in the world that have happened. But, as far as the Rays are concerned, the Rays aren't committing to anything here today. They're not committing. And what's really sad is I would just ask the mayor, is like 3 mayors before you have gone down this same road, and the Rays keep promising you all these things, and they never come true. They will never commit to anything. And why do you think in the next 6 months you're going to get a better answer than Rick Kreisman did, or Bill Foster before him, or Mayor Baker? I mean, it's all the same stuff. What is materially changed for the Rays in terms of the location of the stadium? The demographics haven't changed. They've gotten more attractive on the other side of the bay because of the more movement and people moving into Hillsborough County. This is exactly what I expected. There is no clarity here whatsoever. When he said there's going to be clarity as to where the Rays are, there's no clarity whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm trying to listen to what he's saying here and kind of process it on the fly. And my first reaction is, what is he even talking about? I feel like we just made
this
an
is
announcement.
A big announcement that we're opening the RFP. That's a memo you sent out.
We made a big announcement for a further announcement in 6 months.
Yeah.
Is essentially, I think, if I'm gathering this correctly, what we just did here.
Yeah, that's what we just did. And I've said this since Mayor Welch was inaugurated, that he's going to get played just like the other mayors have been played. And that's no disrespect to him whatsoever. It's putting the finger directly at the Rays and Stu Sternberg, because they
and hold up, are the Rays? See, he kept saying, the Rays are here. Were they in that picture was only showing Welch in the street behind him?
Right.
Are the Rays on the side there? Are they somewhere right there?
Probably the same way they were when Rick Kreisman did his. Because
the press conference is over now. We've moved on, and I didn't hear a single word from the Rays if they were right there.
No, the Rays, and they're not going to say anything.
Why not?
Because they can't control. It's not that they can't control the form. Well, exactly. You think they want to do open questions to press, and they're actually going to ask them pointed questions that they have to answer?
Well, they did.
Of course not.
They did that at their little Cafe Con Tampa things. And they straight up bold-faced lied to everybody. About the sister city. So there you go. Yeah. Why they probably don't want to talk. I get it, but
and folks, you have to know, this is not the way other teams do business. This is not the way people do business when you're talking about stadium situations. They're fully engaged. And I'll say this, the Rays have at some points been, quote, fully engaged in planning, and then they pull back, and then they're not talking to Hillsborough in the city of Tampa in a substantive way. So there's nothing. People say, well, why doesn't Hillsborough come up with a better deal? They can't do it if the Rays are not going to engage them as to what the design is going to be. What exactly do they want? Where do they want to do it? It's not a one-man show. You got to be able. Everybody's got to work together. And right now, the Rays are not doing that on the Tampa side. Now, what happened this morning with Mayor Welch, as I told you it would, the Rays aren't going to respect your June 30th deadline. No. Did you really think they were going to commit to you and commit to? I mean, we were expected to pick a developer today and get some clarity to the situation. With all due respect to Mayor Welch, that was a big nothing burger. That was a big nothing. We're going to open up the RFP because people weren't allowed to weigh in during the pandemic. We're going to do some town hall forums. I can tell you this: you do some town hall forums, most of the people that are going to come out to that and say, "We don't want the stadium. Do not put a stadium there. We need affordable housing." And Mayor Welch, as his mandate suggests, he was overwhelmingly elected, is going to concentrate on affordable housing and those things in equity that are important to the people of St. Petersburg. That's as it should be. That's how democracy works. That's what he ran on. That's what he's going to do. And bravo for him. But none of that includes a baseball stadium. I got news for you. None of it does. None of those things that you just talked about, Mayor Welch, are served by spending $600 million or more on a baseball stadium in a failed location. That's not going to draw any more fans than it does now after the new stadium honeymoon is over because of the demographics, because of the lack of population. It's surrounded by water. That's not where you build a stadium. More delay, more frustration, less answers. That's where we are today. And for all of you guys out there, you know who you are that were like, oh, St. Pete's the spot. It's definitely going, and Mayor's going to announce tomorrow St. Pete's the spot. Yeah, it's not. You got a whole lot of nothing again. And the fact that the Rays are, quote, focused on Pinellas. Okay, they've been, quote, focused on Tampa for 12 years. How's that worked out? It's all a bunch of BS from the Rays side. And they're just trying to run the clock out so they can get more leverage and almost get to the point, well, we can't, we're going to have to move someplace else because we haven't been able to get a deal done. And this is why Major League Baseball and Rob Manfred have to step in and get rid of Stu Sternberg. You remove Stu Sternberg, you will have a stadium deal done within 6 months. I guarantee, if not less. And it will be on the Tampa side because that's where it should be. And again, this has nothing to do with any prejudice against St. Petersburg whatsoever. By the way, if you guys want to weigh in, you can do it at FanstreamJP. You can do it at the JP Peterson Show on Twitter. You can put in your remarks. We'll certainly read them here on the air. You can also go on YouTube and on Facebook as well, and you can put your comments there. As we digest this, it's just a whole lot of nothing. His announcement is we're going to open the RFP. We have no assurances from the Rays whatsoever that they're going to stay here, but we want them to be part of the process. They've been part of the process for freaking 12 years, Mayor. What do you think is going to change?
I stick to what I said yesterday. It's looking increasingly likely, given the fact that it would take nearly probably 3 years to build this thing, and the lease is up in 2027. My prediction is we will find something out either just before 2024 or in 2024. And that's just, I'm sticking to that at the moment because every single quote unquote announcement is just another delay for another announcement.
Nothing happens until there's a true deadline.
When you tell me 6 months and you tell me by the end of the year, that's 2023. Okay. I'm no longer, so now I'm taking myself out of the year that we're in right now. And I'm having to prep for another year of this. And what is that? Just to get a builder or a developer? That's it?
Yeah.
So that's how many, what of all the steps that need to be done to get this thing going? What step is that on the thing? What number step is that?
We're going backwards.
It just feels like we're going backwards, right?
Yes.
So what are we accomplishing? What are we doing here?
And by the way, Midtown that was selected, they've done a lot of work on this. And one of the questions was about litigation from Midtown, the developer. I'm sure that's coming. They're going to sue the city of St. Petersburg for leading them down this path. And now suddenly the RFP is completely open again. And you know why the RFP is open again? Because of the Rays. Because of the Rays. The Rays won't commit. He can't. He's sitting here, and this is I'm so sad for Mayor Welch. I feel bad for him. But I called this back when the Sister City plan was done, that he's going to cozy up to St. Petersburg. Talking about Stu Sternberg here. He's going to cozy up to St. Petersburg and the new mayor and fill him with all kinds of dreams and sugar plums in his head that we're going to stay in St. Petersburg, we're going to stay in Pinellas, and going to try to force Hillsborough to come up with more money, which is why he keeps banging on Hillsborough's door. How much money? How much money? How much money? And Hillsborough, to their credit, they're not biting. They're like, no, we're not doing it this way. Come in and sit down, work together with us, and we'll put together a plan. You pay half, we pay half, and let's get going. That's always the way it's been. And so now Mayor Welch is going to delay this whole process for 6 months because of the Rays. Because of the Rays won't commit. And you're being played, Mayor. Stop it. Redevelop. Move forward for your city. Move forward for your constituents. They're not going to stay in St. Pete. They're not. and they're just holding you up your development, and they're holding it hostage like they did with Mayor Kreisman. I would love to get Mayor Kreisman on tomorrow. Or Mayor Kreisman, if you're watching or listening, please, we'd love to have you on. Please message us at jp at the jppetersonshow.com. So let's take a break. We have not taken a break yet. Let's take a full break here. And when we come back, I'm going to read some of your reactions to what just happened there. And we'll get a little back and forth going with some of you guys, the fans. We're going to play a lot of the Lightning interviews from yesterday, their exit interviews, and of course get back to the Rays on the field as well. But all breaking news, we'll break it down for you next. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
Well, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. If you have any issues with defective stucco work, and that's something that has been very prevalent in the area for the last 10 to 15 years, a lot of bad stucco has been used on residential houses, and that's caused a lot of damage. A lot of people don't know it. They just think it's settling cracks. That's what their builders tell them. Nope, it's bad stucco work, and you have a case. You might have a case. So all you got to do is call Christopher Palermo. Go to the website, PalermoPA.com. You can email him or call him from that website, PalermoPA.com, and see if you have a case. The call is free. The consultation is free. So he'll tell you what to do in terms of bringing in pictures and see what's going on. If you've had a previous settlement with your homeowner's insurance, that can also be actionable. So just call him and let him know. And if you have issues with your homeowner's insurance company, they're not paying out what you think you should get from damage from a storm or water intrusion or whatever, that is his specialty. That's his wheelhouse, and he will go to work for you. So if you have any issues with construction defects or real estate law at all, he's your man, Christopher Palermo, PalermoPA.com. All right, couple of before we move on to the Lightning, a couple of the things people talking. Luke W is chimes in, goes, the Rays a.k.a. or Lonnie Wilkins, this is. The Rays, Stu, have lied for over a decade until he takes the podium with shovel in hand and doesn't sell me snake oil. I don't trust anything it says. It's all a bluff, and it only hurts the fans. Absolutely 100% spot on. This one from Luke W. Can Stu plan anything right? This makes 0 sense. Stu couldn't plan my 6-year-old birthday party. We're going to the bounce house. Yeah. What else do we have here? If you have some, partner, chime in here. Here's another one from Luke. Love the show, guys. Thanks for addressing the issue when nobody else will. Yes, we definitely will. Here's one from Luke W. Starting this year, the Rays get $60 million for national TV. The average local deal is $40 million. They're getting $85 million a year in local TV revenue. Most of that came up front. That Stu took the money, the $500 million, and put it into another company that he owns solely, and is not with the partners that have sued him. It's one of the reasons they sued him. The Rays are getting $100 million per year in TV money before they even sell a ticket. We don't know exactly what the numbers are because they aren't released and they're guarded like state secrets. But here's what I know: that national TV $60 million that you're talking about, that's called the central fund money that every team gets, and that's part of MLB.com, MLB Properties, MLB International. So that central fund money, at last report, this was like 3 or 4 years ago, was $60 million. So it could be as high as 75 to 80 million because baseball revenues keep going through the roof. So that's, let's just call it 70 million. The local TV deal is 85 million. That's been reported. So what are we up to? 155 million right there. Then you talk about the other revenues that come from revenue sharing that have been last reported at 50 million. Although some of the spending over the cap has kind of come down. So you're looking their revenues without question. Well. Yeah. And merch. And that's part of the central fund, but that's before you sell one sponsorship here locally, one ticket locally, anything. So their revenues are well over $300 million every year, and their payroll is about 80. So player costs, insurance, minor league, all that stuff, that goes out to about 120 million, 125 million total. And that's being generous. They do no marketing, or have done no marketing, so that's not a significant cost.
They've been better though this year.
Yeah, they have been. No question about it. They've definitely stepped it up. So, but still, what they're doing is minimal cost, a few million, if that. You got a long way to go to get to $300 million, over $300 million. So that's why Stu is in no hurry to get out of the Trop, because he's printing money there. He has no stadium cost whatsoever. So I get it, but is that what's best for the fans? No. Is that what's best for the players? No, it's only best for him.
Yeah, and without fans, you have no ball club.
Right.
End of story. So exactly. I don't want people to say, well, we don't matter, or you don't have a voice, or anything like that. Without fans, you have no ball club. Without people, raising their voice, and without people showing their support for this team, he would pick his bags up and he would go to a Nashville, or he would go to a Charlotte, or Portland, whatever other city is being rumored out there, which I don't think is happening. And a lot of people, whenever there's a new update with the Rays that it's negative, a lot of people from Nashville are like, well, bring them here. We got this ready to go. The Rays are not going to Nashville. It's not happening.
I'll say this again. Major League Baseball and Rob Manfred has reiterated this multiple times, and it's obvious, and it's financial. These are facts. So as we always say, follow the money. Why would Major League Baseball move a team from the 11th largest market, and with the 18th largest market right down the road in Orlando, to Charlotte, which is in the 20s, or Nashville, which I think is
probably rising, 18. If I had to imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. But none of those places, but here's the other thing. Those places are expansion cities. They want to expand to these places. And if they expand, they're probably going to charge $2 billion in an expansion fee, or at least $1.5 billion in an expansion fee. If the Rays moved there, they just waived the fees for the A's. So the Rays would be charged the relocation fee. But again, when you already have a fan base built in here in one of the largest markets that's growing, it makes no sense. Their national TV deals are tied to this market. You can't just take out an 11th largest market and not suffer some consequences to their national TV sponsors. That's not going to work. You can't do that. So it makes no sense for the other owners, who are not going to get nearly as much money if the Rays move, and they're still that's going to leave a market open. That's a huge hole here. It makes zero sense to move. They want those as expansion teams, and they want those cities to compete as expansion teams. If you only have two, if you move the Rays, that's one expansion city that you're taking away. So you want to create scarcity. You want four or five cities in big or more to get those two spots. They'll give up more money. So this is all a money play for the owners. And please explain to me this: if the other owners who are pissed at Stu anyway for finding out that he's got $500 million in cash through this lawsuit, and the other partners are suing him, and that's why they quashed his sister city bid so quickly. The other owners are not, they're not like in love with Stu Sternberg, who's been taking their revenue sharing money and kicking their ass. Why would they make a huge exception for him to move to another market and allow that to happen and take up one of their expansion markets? That makes no sense. Yeah. So when all you people talk about Nashville and Portland and Charlotte, these are wonderful places. They are. There's no question. They'll be great baseball stadiums, but they're not taking the Rays. It would be an economic idiotic stupidity move for Major League Baseball to do that, to abandon, as opposed to getting some local ownership here who wants to build a stadium. And again, I do not know why Rob Manfred has waited this long. They removed Vince DeMoli for much less than what Stu Sternberg is doing. And here today is another example of it, because he's once again holding up the development of Tropicana Field another 6 months. Mayor Welch, we're having great conversations. You got anything on paper, Mayor? Any commitments at all from the Rays? No, you got squat, and that's all you'll ever get. They're not. Mayor Welch, talk to Kreisman, talk to Baker, talk to all the guys that have come before you. Talk to Mayor Castor, talk to Ken Hagan, talk to everybody who's dealt with Stu Sternberg. And I'm going to tell you the same thing. He's disingenuous. And you can't trust him. And here you are putting off for 6 months. You make this big deal. There's a big announcement. There's going to be some clarity on the Rays. There's no clarity on the Rays. And you're being held up and doing this whole process again because of the Rays. And I'm sorry, Mayor. You're getting played. You're getting played. This one from Richie P. St. Pete is getting played in the same way that we were played 30 years ago when some wahoos convinced them to build a stadium. As it relates to negotiating a deal, St. Pete, as of today, has lost leverage. Totally agree. 100% agree. Lonnie Wilkins says St. Pete is, as nice as the downtown St. Pete is, it's just not the answer here. Build a Tampa Battery District, host the Rays concerts. It's a no-brainer. The great Rays core is being wasted by Stu. 100%. I mean, his fan base is only going to take so much. And this again is another delay so Stu can get more leverage. It's just sad.
I like this one from Lonnie Wilkins right here.
What do you say?
Where did all that WWE money go from renting the Trop out in 2020?
Right in Stu's pocket.
That's a fair question, honestly.
Right in Stu's pocket.
They loaned Trop for like months during 2020 to WWE.
They did?
Yeah. I know you wouldn't have known that, but they did. And some pay-per-views too, like big pay-per-views WWE runs. I have no idea what they were costing them there, but who knows?
Good money. The Rays will be gone to Nashville. This is from our friend James Flash Ludeman. Will be gone to Nashville or Vegas in 2027. Tampa and St. Pete won't do anything to keep the Rays. As I said, those cities are expansion cities. And also, Tampa and St. Pete are both doing everything they can to keep the Rays. It's the Rays that are the problem. Unless you just want Tampa and St. Pete to just write a blank check and say, yeah, we'll build your stadium. And that's not going to happen. That's not realistic.
Well, I saw this here too, by the way. The Rays are set to release their own statement within the next hour in response to Mayor Welch's press conference, which, I mean,
you want me? I'll tell you what it's going to say.
Yeah, I was about to say that you could frame that for us here.
Let me see what it's going to say. It's going to say, we're very, very encouraged to hear the positive words from Mayor Welch about including the Rays in their new RFP process. We are now committed and focused on Pinellas County, whereas, and then insert blame Hillsborough County here when the blame is really on you. We look forward to working with the mayor and trying to find a great solution that includes his priorities of equity and affordable housing while still keeping the Rays in Pinellas. We love our fans, blah, 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 blah. And we look forward to finding a solution here in Pinellas County. And blah, 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 blah. That's what we're going to get. A couple other from our Facebook comments. You can also watch us on Facebook every day at JP Peterson. El Bushman says, I called it too. Then delay. Stewart's Group will also submit an RFP. Oh, you think? So now Stu wants to get involved in development, right? Into the actual development. That would be nice. But you should probably do that on the Tampa side where there's a hell of a lot more money or population and money to be made over there. All right. Anything else we need to get into? Any other reaction that we're seeing?
I think I'm good at the moment on the topic. We'll await the statement, read it to you. But kind of how this press conference went, I'm sure it's going to be a nothing. Yeah,
nothing burger, just like this press conference.
Burger once again.
That was
so. If you're just joining us or you're just asking for us to sum it up to you, it's going back in time. We're restarting the whole process of developing in St. Petersburg, and we'll know by the end of 22. Apparently.
Yeah, Mayor Welch basically says they're opening up the RFP, which is all the developers can now jump back in and give their vision for it. The whole process is just so stupid. It's give us a rendering with a stadium and without a stadium. The stadium's going to take up half the freaking acreage. That's the dumbest process ever. By the way, that's the dumbest process ever. Why? Give me one with a stadium and without. How about you ask the Rays to just put something on paper, put it in front of them. Are you going to stay or not? We can't just keep doing this development BS. The same thing Kreisman did, the same thing everybody else did, without getting. And you're going to get to the end of this 6 months, and they're going to go, yeah, the Rays still haven't decided what they want to do, or they'll do what they said to Kreisman and said, no, we veto that. We want 100% of the proceeds on 70% of the profit of the property. Which was just ridiculous. That's not a way to negotiate. So, yeah, we're just back to square one. All right, we'll take a break, and when we come back, we're going to hear from some Lightning players. We'll move on to a successful franchise that has done everything the right way and is in downtown Tampa, just absolutely loving the fruits of their labors and all their great template of success, which the Rays ignore. We'll do that when we come back. Cryptocurrency is all the rage today. The market cap for the industry is now over $1 trillion. And you read about people making millions of dollars, right? You want to get in, but have no idea what to do? Or maybe you dabbled a bit and you want to unlock the real money-making opportunities and don't know how to do it. There are over 10,000 tokens and thousands of decentralized finance exchanges to navigate. So what do? You go to DeFiLava.com. The folks at DeFiLava.com are in Tampa Bay, and they work with you directly to set up custom accounts, answer all your questions, and provide market analysis. Decentralized finance and cryptocurrencies are here to stay and will change the financial markets as we know them. Get in the game. Get with the experts at DeFiLava.com and tell them JP sent you and get their free 2022 crypto market forecast today at DeFiLava.com. Don't get left behind, folks. Make some money at DeFiLava.com. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Italiano Insurance has been serving and working in our community for over 60 years, and it's not just about insuring all the pieces of your life. Italiano is as much a part of Tampa Bay as the Cuban sandwich. Gasparilla, and our Bucks, Lightning, and Rays. They're also active supporters of great charities like the Humane Society, Metropolitan Ministries, and local pediatric cancer centers. Hey, we all need insurance, so do business with a local company with a commitment to our community. Don't call some 1-800 number. Call Italiano and be greeted by one of your neighbors. That's 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Named the Small Business of the Year by the Tampa Chamber. 813-877-7799. The world economy is in chaos and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center. In our second hour, Christopher Lugo and his great medical staff over there will take great care of you. If you're looking for testosterone replacement therapy, they are experts in the field. Also, if you're looking to lose a little weight, get your immune system boosted back up for the next pandemic. This is the place to go. They use modern techniques, modern philosophies, some of the best supplements you will find, and they get personal results, and that's what they do. Everything is personalized from your diet to your exercise routine, and they will make sure that you will, if you follow their guidelines, get into optimal health. So check it out. They're taking new patients as we speak. That won't happen forever, so get in while you can. Go to BAMMC.com, and make an appointment. Please tell them JP sent you. All right. The Lightning yesterday did a host of exit interviews, and we learned yesterday that I'm not sure everybody's very, very sad that we were not going to see a Game 7 last night. Well, I'm not sure the Lightning could have fielded a full team. They were absolutely broken up from torn AC joints to torn meniscuses and every injury in between, as many hockey teams have. But this team was beat up, and for them to be able to perform like they did is an absolute miracle. We found out a little bit more yesterday, and some very emotional interviews, I think, and very telling interviews from the entire team, basically. So we're going to listen into some of them. And, of course, we're going to start with the captain, Steven Stamkos.
Can you talk about just the grind you guys just went through? You played more games than any other team in the league in the last 23 months. How much did that really – can you kind of describe just what the grind was like and the physical and mental toll it took on you guys?
Yeah, it's certainly a lot of hockey in a short period of time. I think it was 71 games or something like that. It's almost a full season of hockey wedged in between regular seasons. So it was certainly tough. Listen, when you win, you feel great, right? And you don't care how hard it was to get there. When you get to the finals and you lose, mentally, I think you feel the grind more. Just that's your perspective, right? But I mean, obviously, it wasn't a huge factor for this group. We went all the way back, right? So it's something to be proud of. I think, like I said, guys sacrifice so much, and it's almost harder to wrap your head around when you know the feeling of winning. You know what Colorado's doing right now and what's upcoming in the next couple of weeks. Like, it's almost better, to not know that feeling because you don't know what you're missing, right? And you don't know until you do it. And this group has done it. Most of us have done it the past couple of years. So that's the really hard part, is knowing what they get to experience and share and live with for the next, year, really. we don't have that anymore. So that's tough.
You mentioned it was what guys were going through, probably pretty much unthinkable as far as injuries concerned. I know Julian mentioned like the list of guys, what they were doing. As a captain, what goes through your mind watching a lot of your teammates and yourself going through kind of that and battling to get to where you want to be?
Yeah, I mean, again, that's something that when you do all that and you win, it's like, you know, it was so worth it. And you know, it makes some of that stuff easier. When you don't accomplish your goal, it's tough because you realize, you know, some of the sacrifices the guys made, you know, physically were unbelievable. This was of the 3 runs. I mean, this is the one we didn't win, but we might be the most proud of in terms of how hard it was to get here because of what, you know, including what has gone on in the last 2 years, that accumulation, the expectation, the sacrifice, all those things that it took to get here. You're just extremely proud of what guys did. I mean, guys played through so much, and that's just the expectation of this group, and that's pretty special when guys are willing to do whatever it takes to win. You know, it's a special group.
That's for damn sure. That's pretty revealing right there. It's almost heartbreaking, to be quite honest, to hear him say it in those terms.
Yeah. First of all, by the way, take a look at that face that looks about 5 years younger after the beards have gone away.
Yes,
that was my first observation when I saw Steven Stamkos come to the podium here. That doesn't look like the 32-year-old grizzled vet anymore. No. But yeah, I mean, we talked all year about where's the motivation going to come from to win a 3rd cup? Where's it going to come from? And we learned during this playoff run, and he led by example and said, you know, there's guys in this room who haven't won that cup yet, like a Nick Paul, like a Brandon Hagel. Corey Perry has won a cup, but he won it in, I think, his 2nd year in the league a long time ago, which, by the way, he just lost 3 in a row.
3 in a row in the finals.
That's brutal. I don't know if I want him. I don't know if I want him back next year.
Absolutely not.
Because of that. But you got to admire that as a captain, that they were willing to put it all on the line, out on the line there and on the ice for the guys who hadn't won it. And that feeling, as he talked about there, he knows what Colorado's doing, and I've already seen the videos.
Yes, I can't watch it.
I saw one yesterday. Landeskog, he was using the Stanley Cup as like a sippy cup for his daughter and was like pouring it in her mouth. I don't know what he was pouring. I don't know what was in there, but he was using
Certainly
it.
Not baby formula.
I don't think so, no. But he was using it as a sippy cup, which is a pretty cool video, neat video. And these guys, that trophy, I think, means more to them than I think any other trophy in sports means to any other athlete.
Absolutely.
I mean, seriously.
Well, it's funny because it's the only trophy where the players get a day with the trophy. You know, they don't do that with the as far as I know, they don't do that with the NBA or the World Series trophy or the Lombardi trophy. And it's a symbolism of, you know, an actual almost a personification of the gratitude that these players have and give back to their families. You know, so many of them go back to their hometowns and, you know, and go, you know, have a day in the park where their whole, you know, their 3rd grade teacher can come get a picture with the cup and all that stuff. There's nothing like it in sports. It's like the whole following the cup, and we've experienced it here. I mean, there was literally a underground culture on social media of cup hunting in Tampa Bay, where you could try to go find where the cup is tonight, at which bar are the players at, and you go and you try to get a picture with it. It's just, there's nothing like it in sports. And I think it's great because it does kind of, it's a payback for that sacrifice, and you can see the smiles on everybody else's face, and you can actually share your win with the fans in a really tangible way. It's amazing.
Yeah. And it's a culmination of an 82-game regular season that is grueling, it's taxing, and then 2.5 months sprint that you talk about the injury list that we mentioned yesterday and that he alluded to. These guys are insane what they put their bodies through. I mean, it's stuff that like normal people like me and you, we wouldn't want to get out of bed to do, let alone play a hockey game and play a physical brand of hockey at that. And they did it anyway. And you have to keep in mind as well, this might have been the toughest test of any team in NHL history to get to a Stanley Cup final. You could very well make that argument. This was the toughest test to get to a final of any team ever has had to go through.
Yeah.
To go on the road in every single series, to be the underdog according to the odds makers, to play 4 teams who won 50 games plus in the regular season, something that's never been done before. And to come in within 2 games of pulling it off.
Played the Vezina Trophy winner.
The
Norris Trophy winner. The Hart.
The President's
Rocket Richard.
I mean,
everything.
Every award winner basically was on these teams the Lightning had to play. And somehow they clawed their way through all of it and came within 2 games of winning a 3rd cup in a row, which hadn't been done in 40 years. I mean, when you talk it out like that, there's nothing to be ashamed of here with this group.
Absolutely, 100%.
Not at all, but it stings for these players. And we mentioned yesterday how Pat Maroon couldn't even get through his press conference.
Yeah.
And a guy who's won 3 in a row. This trophy just means so much to these guys, and you see it when they talk.
All right, let's move on to do we have a Braden Point one or because Braden talked about how he tried to return from that torn quad muscle. It's funny, we were all speculating as to what injury it was, and that's what I was going with from the very beginning, because when he went down, you could see him grab his quad, and he couldn't put weight on it, and that's a pretty good indication that something in the mid level has gone horribly wrong, and just a freak accident. And you never know how these things play out, but Braden Point is such a huge part of the Lightning and everything that they do, how they execute their breakouts, penalty killing, power play, everything. He's such a huge part of this team, and not having him was crippling.
And another kid here, I call him a kid. Look at that.
Oh my God.
He looks like he's like 17, but
just show up on a bike with Uber Eats.
Yeah, literally. But here he is though.
Go ahead.
Pointer, heck of a season. I know it was tough, man, seeing you out there for morning skate. I know you wanted to go. How was it to be able to put the pads on every day and just know you weren't going to be able to get in the lineup for the final there?
Yeah, it was tough. That's what you play for. The guys did a great job to get there, and they got me a chance to play in a couple games. Yeah, it was tough, but just watching the guys and seeing what they did and seeing the effort that they put in, it was extremely special to watch.
I mean, you said before the final, you have to be honest with yourself and your injury and how you're feeling. Can you be effective? Is that what it kind of came down to you after game 2? Like, you didn't know if you could feel to be the player you kind of want to be on the ice?
Yeah, I think so. It wasn't a matter of playing through it or whatever. It was just a matter of, Colorado was a good team, and I think me and the coaches and kind of everyone felt like I wasn't going to be able to be good enough out there to give us the best chance to win. So that's kind of what the decision came down to.
Braden, all that work you made to just to make it back and try to play in the final. Did you know when you went on the ice that, hey, this is not the same for me? I can't do what I normally do.
Yeah, that definitely was. I mean, a lot of guys this time are playing through injury, and there's definitely limitations. But it just was a thing where, I've had tears in the past that you can still find your stride and you can play and you can still be effective. But this one was different. It just the power wasn't there, and the tight turns and all that kind of stuff that you need to be able to do to to be effective and especially in a final. Just wasn't able to do it.
Braden, how hard is it right now just to balance the emotions of everything that you all were able to do with obviously coming up short here, especially following 82-game season and still pushing the way that you guys did this playoff run? Yeah,
a lot of hockey in the last little bit for us, and it's tough to lose, obviously, but like I was saying before, to be able to watch the guys and see the effort that they put in and the sacrifice that they made, to their bodies to get to the finals again and give ourselves another chance to win was pretty incredible to watch.
Regarding your injury, did you re-aggravate anything in the first 2 games of the final? And what's going to be your recovery timetable? Will you need any sort of surgery or anything like that?
Yeah, no, it should heal. Just it's going to take time. But re-aggravate, I think anytime you're using a muscle that's torn, it's going to be sore. So there was that. It didn't make anything worse, but yeah, it was just. But like I said before, just to be able to be a part of it and to watch the guys was incredible.
how do you just encapsulate this entire year? Obviously, I mean, not only the injury in the Stanley Cup, but you also had to deal with an injury during the regular season. And just how do you put together this year as a whole and what you guys were able to accomplish?
Yeah, just some ups and downs. I haven't had a ton of time to reflect on the whole thing. But, personally, there was ups and downs. And I think us as a team, we went through some ups and downs. But I think, come playoff time, the guys really bought in and did everything we could to win the championship. And like I say, again, watching those games, seeing what the guys did and seeing how much they put themselves through to give us another chance. It was a special run. You fall short, but I think looking back, you'll just remember the sacrifice that the guys put in to give us a chance.
Braden Point, his exit
In
interview.
those situations, like where are you watching the games from? Is it from the lounge and kind of thing, or are you by yourself? And is I guess you're more nervous when you're watching games as opposed to playing games? Is that kind of how you felt, the emotions of?
Yeah, I think usually, you just don't have the control, right? You're out of it, so you're just watching. But watching the guys, I had confidence. There's times where you get nervous, but I just had such a confidence in our group that I really didn't feel that way. But just mostly watching from the locker rooms on the TV there, and I had the ultimate confidence in our group.
There's Braden Point on his exit interview. We'll do one more before hitting a break. Do you have Nick Paul by chance? Because he talks about his desire to come back. And Breeze Bois said yesterday, also the GM, that he was already talking to their agents and trying to secure Andre Palat and Nick Paul and bring them back. I'm not exactly sure where they are in the salary cap, but these are not going to be blowout contracts to be sure. But I think they can get somewhere in the neighborhood of what they might get out the open market. I don't know. But
I pulled up the salary cap here. I'm trying to make sense of it. But right now, I mean, the Lightning shows the number I'm looking at here is it shows they have zero
for next year,
like literally zero for next year.
Yeah, but there's a lot of guys that are on there that may not be here and don't have guarantees for next year. So I'm not exactly sure what's available and what's not. But Breeze Bois seemed to think that he could do that. Let's listen into Nick Paul. At least his desire to be here, certainly.
Probably emotional last couple days for everybody, and probably hard to turn the page into what'll be a busy summer for a lot of people. Just what's your overall feeling going into this summer in terms of you want to be back and kind of what's important to you when you look at what you want to make, decision you want to make?
Yeah, obviously not the outcome we wanted, but summer just fuels the fire. Just getting into workouts, and I think it's making it that far and coming up short is definitely something you're going to think about for a little bit. But take your time with it. Do what you need to do over summer, come back and be refreshed, be ready, be excited for the next season. So obviously I love it here, and free agent this summer, but Tampa definitely a spot that I really enjoyed and really like the guys on the team, and I don't know what else to go from there. So right now, just leave it to my agent right now, and he knows my thoughts, and yeah, we'll see.
Nick, we learned a lot today about some of the injuries that a lot of you guys were playing through. What did you learn about just kind of the sacrifice in that room that you guys showed, and just kind of maybe how much you guys kind of fed off each other with some of that?
Yeah, just shows how bad guys want to win on this team. They're all banged up, and a couple surgeries going on, and they're playing through that. So when someone like that's strapping up and they're giving it all they can, definitely build off that. Like I said multiple times, just a bunch of warriors in this team. The dedication they have to win and put the team first is huge. And I think that's why the team has been so successful. And going to the Stanley Cup Finals, playing through what guys were playing through. So it's definitely really, really good to see. And that's why this team's unbelievable.
Nick, I know you just talked about the sacrifice, but for you personally, with this being your first run like this, what was the biggest takeaway for you in terms of what you learned either about the postseason, about the playoffs, about this group?
Yeah. Resiliency comes in there. Team first. just the way everyone steps up their game, leaders come into play, doing the right things, trickles down, just winning hockey, winning details, what it takes to win. You know, never out of it, whether it's a 2-1, 3-1 game. There's no doubt in that team. You know, the confidence everyone has in each other to really come together and give it all they have to pull a win out, and no doubt, no matter what the series is at, no matter what the game's at, there's always confidence that this team will pull it out. And yeah, like I said before, leaders all the way down, just doing everything the right way and just showing what winning hockey is and what it takes in the playoffs.
Nick, just what was it like to play in the Stanley Cup playoffs? Obviously, you were someone who grinded year after year, not having that experience, and then to play that big stage. What was it like for you?
It was definitely new, definitely different than the regular season, but it was fun. I liked it. I liked the challenge. I liked what it asked from yourself and your teammates and the whole team as a combination. So I thought it was good. I thought it was hockey that can kind of go towards my game, and I can elevate when I need to. Yeah, like I said, with a team like this and the leadership and everyone doing it the right way, it's easy to just follow suit.
There's Nick Paul talking about his ride this year, and obviously his desire to come back with the Lightning and Palat as well. But we'll see what happens in free agency. Whatever happens, I'm fairly sure that Brisebois is going to bring back a team that is ready to compete, and I think Vegas has them at second or third lowest odds to win the championship. So we know that this core is together for a long time. It's going to be a very, very successful team. I think maybe they do need to get a little bit faster. When I watch their game, so much is when Braden Point's not in there, they just look so different. They look slower, and also knowing that there were 4 or 5 guys that were dealing with leg injuries.
Yeah,
and you're just you're going to be a step slow when you've got medial collateral strains, meniscus strains or tears, quad tears. I mean, you're just not going to skate very well.
And a couple of things there is that I'm curious to see what happens with the fourth line, and they're all under contract for next year at $1 million each, so nothing really much there. But Belmar's going to be going to his age 38 season. Maroon's going to his age 35 season.
Yeah.
Perry his age 38 season.
Yeah.
I love what that line did at times during the regular season, and in the playoffs, I thought they had their moments. Obviously, limited ice time, but that would be one thing I want to consider. Am I going to run out a line that's that old? I guess.
Yeah.
Again. Yeah. And so I think that's
but you have to be careful to not make knee-jerk reactions about regular season.
Oh yeah.
Because the regular season, it's playoffs that matter. And is that a line that you want in your playoffs? Yeah, probably.
You want those guys in the room for sure.
Yeah. But at some point, they're just not fast enough to compete with Colorado.
With Colorado, it was evident. But
and Florida.
And I started
Toronto.
thinking too, if it comes to shove and you have to pick between Palat or Paul, I think before I was on the Nick Paul train, I kind of am leaning towards Palat more now than I am Nick Paul.
Well, Nick Paul's 27, Palat's 31.
Yes, I understand that. But, I think about it, Nick Paul, for the production he gave the team and more, I guess, unexpected production, you can't mistake a guy that just scored 11 goals in the playoffs.
No.
That is third on the active list of players in game-winning goals in the playoffs, behind Malkin and Pavelski, 2 of the best players in the league. You can't really replace that, I don't think. And I know Andre Palat can play in the top 6 and on the top line in the playoffs, and he could be counted on. I don't know yet with Nick Paul. The scoring dried up a little bit for me at the end there.
Scored some big goals.
He did score some big goals, but Andre Palat scored a lot of big goals.
Yeah.
And he just kind of fits. I love that line together of Stamkos, Kucherov, and Palat. They definitely found something there.
Yeah.
And I think you might be able to find somebody else probably around the deadline next year, or a cheaper alternative that could do similar things to Nick Paul. I'd rather be looking for that kind of guy than looking for a skill guy that can play on your top line.
It's hard because because of the age factor, number one, and number two, you kind of feel like what we saw in Nick Paul was just the tip of the iceberg.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like once he was set free from Ottawa, and was playing in a system with better players and a system that fits him. I mean, he responded. He responded tremendously well, and it wasn't just the goal scoring; it was his tenacity in the corners, his penalty kill. I mean, I so much I love about his game, and it's you have to choose between one of the. Oh, that's a tough choice. That's a really tough choice. I don't want to be making the decision. No, that's why Breezeball gets the big money. You just hope that they find a way to get them both back.
Yeah, and I'm already looking ahead to next year because we have to turn the page at some point. And I know things are going to change. There's going to be the draft, which I don't think is going to impact any of the top teams in the East. There's going to be free agency. There's some big fish out there, but we kind of know the Lightning are going to be back, right? We know they're going to be in the mix. And I'm looking at the rest of the Eastern Conference. Florida's getting a new head coach, right? And they have a lot of issues as well. They're going to have, you just saw, they're not going to be able to keep Claude Giroux. That's one. Duclair just got hurt today or yesterday. Now he's having like an Achilles injury and he's going to have surgery.
Oh.
He just hurt himself in warm-ups. The guy scored 31 goals for them.
Yeah.
So he's going to be out for a while. So I think Florida might take a step back next year. I think that's possible with a new head coach, new system, new all that. Toronto, we all know, until they get over the hurdle, come talk to me. And then you have that trio of teams, Washington, Boston, Pittsburgh, that I think is on their way out. New York's going to be much better. Is going to be even better probably next year. I think right now you have to look at it. I think the Lightning, the Rangers, and Toronto are the top three teams going into next year at the moment.
Yeah.
And I think that bodes well. I think it was really top heavy this year. And I think you're going to see some pullback now in the Eastern Conference. And it should be maybe an easier road than it was this year, I think.
And one thing that's starting to, and I was talking with Dave Randolph about this. I think he even said it on our show, is that, there's always been that next guy up, like Ross, Braden Point, Ross Colton, that guy coming up from the minors that makes an impact and scores, close to 20 goals. And
it's not there right now.
Yeah, because the Lightning have given away a lot of draft picks to secure these two cups. And now in terms of future pipeline, it's time to pay the piper. And they've got to go find some young talent. I mean, Barboulay, I think he's shown some ability. I don't think there's any question about that.
It's not going to work with him because he needs to have to play in the top six for his play to translate. He can't play that grind role.
Yeah. And he's probably not quite ready for that.
No.
But if injuries could take somebody goes out, in those top six, they've tried him up there. I think he's been mildly successful, but hasn't been the pop that we saw from Braden Point and Ross Colton,
and Sorelli, all these other guys.
Yeah. So who is that next guy?
Radish and Kachuk were the next guys.
We're the next guys, and they're gone now. Yeah,
and they're gone.
So
now.
The next guys need to be Nick Paul and Hagel. And Hagel, we kind of criticize Hagel. He's playing on a broken foot, and his speed is his game.
I wasn't as concerned about him because he stood out to me a lot during the postseason, and he had so many chances to score. He just was snake bitten.
Sometimes that's not snake bitten. That's just you're not a finisher.
Yeah, he's not a finisher. But I mean, you didn't score 21 goals on accident, I guess, in Chicago. I mean, I guess you can make the argument, he was kind of playing on the power play a little bit. He might have been playing with Patrick Kane, and that helped a little bit. But I mean, he was in the right spot. I'll give it. He was in the right spot. Maybe a full year with the Lightning here. You're paid to put the puck in the back of the net. End of story, I guess. But not. And they have him under team control for 4 or 5 more years, and he's still only 23, 24. So he's going to be part of the long term here, no doubt about it.
All right, we'll take another break. We'll come back on the other side, talk a little Rays baseball in terms of the game last night. What's coming up for them? An ominous moment for the Boston Red Sox that the Boston media went crazy over, and it involves their unvaccinated closer. And we're going to find out who's vaccinated and who's not vaccinated for the Rays as they go to Toronto. Yes, it's part of your sports conversation. Next. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle, building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Italiano Insurance has been serving and working in our community for over 60 years, and it's not just about insuring all the pieces of your life. Italiano is as much a part of Tampa Bay as the Cuban sandwich, Gasparilla, and our Bucks, Lightning, and Rays. They're also active supporters of great charities like the Humane Society, Metropolitan Ministries, and local pediatric cancer centers. Hey, we all need insurance, so do business with a local company with a commitment to our community. Don't call some 1-800 number. Call Italiano and be greeted by one of your neighbors. That's 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Named the Small Business of the Year by the Tampa Chamber. 813-877-7799. Cryptocurrency is all the rage today. The market cap for the industry is now over $1 trillion. And you read about people making millions of dollars, right? You want to get in, but have no idea what to do? Or maybe you dabbled a bit and you want to unlock the real money-making opportunities and don't know how to do it. There are over 10,000 tokens and thousands of decentralized finance exchanges to navigate. So what do? You go to DeFiLava.com. The folks at DeFiLava.com are in Tampa Bay, and they work with you directly to set up custom accounts, answer all your questions, and provide market analysis. Decentralized finance and cryptocurrencies are here to stay and will change the financial markets as we know them. Get in the game. Get with the experts at DeFiLava.com and tell them JP sent you and get their free 2022 crypto market forecast today at DeFiLava.com. Don't get left behind, folks. Make some money at DeFiLava.com.
Pure Sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center in our second hour. Also by the Golden Diamond Source. Great place to shop this summer if you want to jump in there and get some fun jewelry, maybe a nice watch, a baller watch, maybe something for your lovely lady. And by the way, you can take some of her broken or unused jewelry, stuff she doesn't wear anymore, bring it into the Golden Diamond Source. They will give you cash. You can take that cash and fill up your tank. Or you can buy something new and shiny for her that she will absolutely love. You don't have to come out of pocket for anything, right? That's a pretty good idea. Also, if you're looking for a ring, 0% interest, 5 years that will allow you to buy a very, very big ring, a beautiful ring, like my man Nick here got for Casey. And you can pay over time. And 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks a month get you a huge, huge, beautiful ring. So go on in there and shop. It's just like going in there and talking to family, because they are family. It's a family-run business, a local business. We love to keep everything local here in great Tampa Bay. And, of course, we always thank Julie and Steve Weintraub for the great charity work that they do. Their Hands Across the Bay charity has done amazing things in our area. And I'll be emceeing a great event, Denim and Diamonds, coming up next week. The Hands Across the Bay Foundation has always been a big benefactor of that. So we thank them for their charity work. And go shopping at the Golden Diamond Source. It's nice and cool in there. You'll have a great experience. Right there, 3800 Overton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. All right, couple other thoughts. If you missed it at 10 o'clock this morning, how ironic, Mayor Welch standing out in front of Tropicana Field trying to do his press conference, and they had technical difficulties. They could not get the stream up so everybody could see it. The Rays were present, but chose not to come to the podium and answer any questions in front of the assembled media. That's not shocking. They have promised us a stadium. A statement? Have we seen a statement from the Rays yet? I don't think we have, but we know what it's going to say. We look forward to working with the mayor and trying to find solutions to keep the Rays in Tampa Bay for generations to come. But the bottom line of what happened this morning, basically, Ken Welch promised some clarity on the Rays situation. He offered none of it there because the Rays are not going to give him any clarity. The big announcement was that they're going to start from scratch in the RFP process, which is basically looking for developers to redevelop the Trop side. And the main reason he's doing that is because he can't get a commitment from the Rays. As I told you last week, when the mayor, or a few weeks ago, when the mayor came out with this deadline of June 30th for the Rays to decide which side of the Bay Area they were going to be on, remember that? I said, they're going to ignore that. They're not going to do anything. And, of course, they didn't. And so now he's forced to, or not forced, but he's going to open the process again so he can figure out if the Rays are going to be with them or not. And it's just the Rays forcing a delay. And, obviously they can't really go forward with the redevelopment of the Trop because the Rays have this in the lease. They have some veto power of how this is all going to be done. So Stu Sternberg can hold up the development of Tropicana Field, which is he's been doing for years and years now. And for some reason doesn't get called on the carpet for it because he won't make a decision because he's trying to play it out and get as much money as he can from Hillsborough or Tampa. And by the way, all the people that were so excited about this being, it looks like they're going to announce the Rays are staying in St. Pete. No, that didn't happen. Didn't happen today, and it's not going to happen anytime soon if it ever happens. They're supposedly looking at an adjacent property to the Trop site. I don't know what property that is. No one's really discussed that, what that might be, or where it is, or how big it is, or how it's going to work. And it's all just delay tactics. It's just delay tactics, and more of it for Stu Sternberg because he's making a mint where he is right now. It's just sad. It's a sad situation. And the mayor, in my opinion, is being played like the mayors before him. And he's holding up the development of his site, waiting on the Rays. And you'll wait forever. He says that everything, the conversations are going great. It means nothing. It means absolutely nothing, Mayor. They've done that to everybody else. And I'm just sorry for the people of St. Petersburg and the people of Tampa that are having all of this. And people are getting tired of it. The fans are getting tired of us talking about it. They're getting tired of it. And I just want everybody to know this is not the way it works in other places. And the reason it's this ridiculous process is because of Stu Sternberg. And Major League Baseball could remove him, as they did Vince Namoli, and get this thing done. For some reason, they're not doing that. I don't know why. Maybe Sternberg is threatening a lawsuit on them. Who knows? But it just seems like there's an answer to this. It's right in front of everybody's face. And so I see so much disinformation on Twitter right now about things that people you don't understand the process. They're not moving to Nashville. They're not moving to another market. That would be foolhardy for the owners to approve that when those could be expansion markets. And Major League Baseball is not leaving this market. So that's where we're at right now with the big announcement today and the, quote, clarity that we're going to get on the Rays, which was none. All right, they did they did lose last night 5-3. Matt Whistler comes in. I had no problem with Cash taking out Baz in that situation. I don't think Nick did either. It just didn't work out for him. Their offense couldn't come back and win the game. And And so it goes. It happens with relievers. They come in. Whistler's been really, really good. He didn't have it last night, and the Brewers ambushed him. But Shane Baz was really, really good. That's positive.
Yeah, that's the really good thing. I think in his last 16 innings, I think he's given up 2 earned runs.
Yeah, that's a
I
big
want to
deal.
say. So
Yeah.
that's a really strong thing for him. Having the 2 Shanes, we got to get a nickname for that duo right now. McClanahan and Baz. We got to think about that. The 2 Shanes in the rotation have been awesome. The Rays pitching is not the problem on most nights. It's not the problem. So the starting pitching, at least. The bullpen has had its moments lately because of the injuries. But yeah, it's hard for me to come on here and really just bash Kevin Cash over that, like a lot of people are doing.
Yeah.
And
Fire Kevin Cash.
The fire Kevin Cash crowd. And a lot of people were tweeting, I don't think Kevin Cash wants to win baseball games.
Yes, of course
Stop.
he doesn't. Yeah.
Stop.
No, it's major league.
This has worked out for the Rays before. Sometimes it doesn't work out for the Rays. And last night was one of those nights. Against a Brewer team, like I said in the opening when we talked a little bit about it, when you have to go against this bullpen and you're trailing in the game, you might as well just go home. It's over at that point.
Yeah.
But
haters.
And a lot of Rays presence last time, that Brewers team. And I know they did the video tribute, which was nice. Like they showed it on the Bally broadcast for Ozzie Timmons, Brasso, and Adames. But Hunter Renfroe's on that team too. He didn't get any none there, but he was only here for a cup of coffee. But he was on that World Series team.
Yeah, he was.
And Brad Boxberger pitched later in the game too, and I'm like, gosh,
they do have a lot. Yeah.
Talk about a Rays footprint. It's right there in Milwaukee, apparently.
Yeah, and that may have had something to do with the ambushing of Whistler, but more leaving the sliders up had a little bit more to do with it.
Yeah, not good. But they get back at it today at 15 minutes. I think they're about to have first pitch here, so an early one today.
So in other developments, Tyler Glasnow released a video of him pitching off the mound in Tropicana Field. It was great to see him pitch, but you know the best part about that video? The sound that in an empty Trop, the sound that makes when, I don't know if we can play it, but when he pops the mitt, I don't know why, but it just sounds so cool. And then Cash was asked about it after the game, and he wasn't very happy about him releasing that video. Do we have that audio?
Yeah, I'm queuing it up here right now. Where is?
There's that. Yeah. Let's play that. See if we can play that. I don't know if you guys will get a kick out of this if you can hear it like I can. This is Glasnow off the mound in his. Yep. Let's try that again. And the pitch. Man, I just love that sound. Tyler Glasnow popping the mitt.
I wonder how hard he's throwing there.
It's pretty damn hard.
It's a pretty fluid motion here.
Yeah. He looks good. He looks good in his tank top.
Sometimes I forget he's on this team. I don't know why. It's been so long since he's pitched. I almost forget about him. And I have my doubts of how much longer he's going to be around here.
Well, we're paying him to rehab. So if we paid him this year, we're certainly going to pay him next year.
Hey, we've made it longer in the season.
Yeah.
When I thought that
if he's throwing like that now, he's coming back this year, right?
I thought I saw yesterday they're kind of hoping that he can get back by the end of the season. So I think we're still a little bit out.
We're a third of the way. You're talking about 2 months. He's not going to be able to throw. He's throwing right now, and that looked full go to me. That ain't soft toss.
Yeah, that's pretty close there.
Do you have the Cash interview?
Yeah, I'm trying to get the Cash interview here. There's like salty Cash almost a little bit.
I think he's upset because he doesn't want to have to answer questions every day. How's Tyler Glasnow doing? When's he going to pitch? Because that's what's coming every day now. Because when you got a guy with Cy Young type stuff and he can't, everybody. Can you imagine having him back for a playoff run in September and then in the rotation?
Yeah, here was what Kevin Cash had to say about that.
Yeah, thrilled that he posted that to social media. So good for Tyler. I'm glad he feels good.
He's pissed. He's pissed.
Yeah, it's the look on his face. You have to go watch the video to see the little.
Yeah, because one of the commandments of Ray's front office and officials is thou shalt not have any truth to anything that's going on. We don't need any video evidence of him throwing. We got to keep everything in the shadows.
Literally.
Yeah, we can't tell you the truth about anything. So that's good to see. I mean, that's really good to see. That's heartening. And, we have no idea where he is in his development, but he looks like he's letting it rip there pretty damn good. And again, all the timelines for things now in terms of injuries have been completely redone with the advent of stem cells and using stem cells to augment the surgeries, which is what they're doing these days. And, you're seeing guys come back from Achilles injuries in 6 months, like Cam Akers did, ACL injuries, all types of injuries. And I guess why wouldn't it work with the ulnar collateral ligament as well?
Yeah, and a lot of guys come back from this now.
Right?
I think you got it. You nailed it.
Nailed it.
But I think a lot of these guys come back now and they almost seem like they're better.
Yeah.
More so. It's not one of those like career derailers anymore. I mean, obviously it takes a year to 18 months off of your career, don't get me wrong. But I don't think it really stunts your performance as much. In some cases, some guys come back better. Some guys are throwing even harder. So
yeah.
It's the key for Glasnow. There's a lot of torque on his arm. And was I surprised that he had to have Tommy John surgery? Not in the slightest. When you look at the frame that he has and the way that he throws, the violent torque on his arm. It was
that whole new ball thing when they got rid of the
that was
when
a
they
hell
got rid
of
of
a
the
time last year.
Yeah.
We were talking about mud on balls and
right in the beginning of the year, a month into the season, we're like, oh, now we're going to change that. You can't use the spider tack, and guys are they're trying to get the same revolutions and the same bite on their pitches. They end up overthrowing and you get hurt. I'm not saying that's exactly what happened, but it sure seemed like it. He said it. Yeah, he said it.
So yeah, he
don't forget that.
I wonder. I think they have another different ball though this year. Like again, I don't know what is it so hard to just find a ball.
Did you see that the other night? One of the pitchers, these pitchers now believe that they can tell the difference between last year's balls and this year's balls.
Yeah.
And evidently they're having supply chain issues, shocking development, getting this year's balls. So they're going back to some of last year's balls. Sounds great, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And one pitcher was just like, yeah, that's last year's ball. Threw it out. Kept throwing him a ball. And he's like, I don't want it. And the ump was like, hey, what the F you doing? He's like, so I don't blame him.
I mean, yeah,
I don't blame him.
We're not throwing the balls like they are every single day, but I don't know how long you can tell though. I really don't. I have no idea. Obviously, I haven't picked up one in God knows how long. I haven't picked up a major league ball, but yeah, I don't know how they can't figure it out. But the good news for the Rays is we know Glasnow's not going to be back for a while. But the encouraging news was that Kiermaier, this is actually a short stay for him on the IL, it appears. So he should be back maybe.
Some fans are not happy about that.
Well, why?
The KK haters like you.
Okay, well, it's better than having Brett Phillips in the lineup, who I'm sorry, but to break y'all spirits, but he's an automatic out.
Did you see the graphic of his WRC?
No, I didn't.
Like a negative 27 or something. It's
I
like ridiculously the worst in the league.
I can tell. That's why I don't.
We love the guy, but my goodness, he's that you can't.
It's a free out right now. It's a free out.
That's bad.
He's a free out. So yeah, I do want Kevin Kiermaier back in there, and I think
at some point you just got to go up and bunt.
Here's my question though: when Kiermaier comes back, like Arando was sit back down to the minors, and I know he was only here for 2 games,
right?
Like, is he a better hitter than Brett Phillips?
You're a better hitter than Brett Phillips. Right now.
You're so kind. You're not. You rolled everyone over there.
Hey, shut up. At least I made contact. I was drunk and there was the bad lighting.
Bad lighting. There you go. You sound like Willie Adames at the Trop.
Who singles in his first at bat
he
last
looked
night.
fine. He looked fine
Good
on
God.
that one.
Yeah.
But no, seriously though, like who's a better hitter? Is it Jonathan Aranda or Brett Phillips? And don't give me the defense. Don't give me the defense.
Of course, anybody's a better hitter than him right now. But he brings a lot of intangibles. Look, I'm not going to sit here and defend putting Brett Phillips in the lineup. You can't right now. It's bad. I've never, it's as bad as it gets. He's the worst in the majors. He's the worst offensive player in the majors right now. I mean, you can't sugarcoat it. We love him to death. Baseball is fun, but it's not fun when you're going 0 for 31.
I would rather keep Josh Lowe up. Let him figure out his swing.
Absolutely, 100%.
If Josh Lowe's going through it right now, I have a little bit more confidence at the plate than Brett Phillips. Not much, but a little bit more at the moment. And he's going to give you the same defense that Brett Phillips can give you and the base paths and all those things. And I don't think he's going to strike out as much as Brett Phillips either. He's going to, he has at a good clip this year. Don't get me wrong, but I think he probably should improve on that at some point. I'd rather keep him up here. Figure out what you're doing with Brett Phillips, I think. I understand he's a great fan favorite. The fan base might lose their minds, but it's a tough business. You have to make some calls. And the Rays, listen, they're 4th place in the division.
Yep.
It's not like this is not like last few years where they're going back and forth in first with the Yankees. No, you're in 4th place at the moment. So every single guy on this roster right now, those are coveted spots. And Brett Phillips right now, I think, ain't cutting it.
No.
So I'd rather.
It's tough to say.
Just put your best hitters in the lineup at the moment. I understand defense and all that, but you need to get hits.
No question about it. We'll see what the move is today. When KK comes back, right? I believe as they head to Toronto, where we will find out which players can play and which cannot, if they're vaccinated or unvaccinated. My guess is this team probably everybody is vaccinated, but we'll find out.
I'll tell you who's not vaccinated.
Tanner Houck.
For the Sox, but Jason Adams probably not vaccinated. Who the other ones? Jalen Beeks.
Why are you saying no?
Was it Brooks Raley?
They have religious exemptions.
I mean, somebody's gonna point it out. Okay, let me just be on. Let's just put it out there. Would it shock you? Would it shock you if
what shocks
a couple
me,
of those guys were the ones?
What shocks me is knowing that, according to the VAERS, which is the self-reporting vaccine injuries, it is. It's facts are facts. Over 20, I think the number's up to 23,000 now. People have died from the vaccine. Hundreds of thousands have been injured by the vaccine. These are just the self-reporting ones. The numbers in Israel and other places where they actually track these things. We track everything with COVID, but we don't track vaccine injury, interestingly enough. But and obviously knowing the numbers that healthy athletes do not need a COVID vaccine whatsoever, but many chose to take it. You can do your own research on how many young athletes have been dropping dead. Healthy athletes have been dropping dead lately. You can do it on the military numbers as well. It's obviously a lot of issues. Even the Pfizer vaccine trials, the information that they tried to hide from the American public, which a judge told them they had to, you can go read those and see all. I can just honestly tell you that vaccine would have been shut down within days if it was any other vaccine. Obviously, it saved a lot of lives. Well, people believe that it did. But there's obviously risk to taking it, and some players have chosen not to do it. So the Boston media last night, when they blow a save and Tanner Houck couldn't be there, explodes. Dan O'Shaughnessy said, most richly deserved loss ever. Anti-vax closer is back in Boston enjoying personal freedom, while Sox Penn blows 5-4 lead in the ninth. Penn never got out in the ninth. Sox are 2-7 versus Jays, 7-16 versus AL East, but everybody evidently okay with Tanner Houck quitting on the team. He continues, Dan Shaughnessy, let's be clear, Houck chose to abandon his teammates. His personal freedom is more important. Yeah, take an experimental vaccine that you don't need to save a baseball game. Okay, it doesn't matter whether it's going to kill you, but that's okay. Joe Haggerty writes, he's a Boston writer, Tanner Houck will do absolutely anything to help the Red Sox win, except make sure he's actually with the team and available when they really need him to close out a one-run game with Toronto. So is Toronto the only place that you can't pitch if you're unvaccinated?
I think so, because of the
so it's the players' fault. It's not Toronto's fault. It's not the Canadians' government's fault. They're the only place.
Well,
but it's the players' fault. And it's Major League. It's not Major League Baseball's fault. It's the
come
players'
around
fault.
to it at this point. Like, I mean, if you played for Toronto and you refuse to do it, then I feel like at that point you have problems.
Yeah,
that you need to
go play somewhere else.
No,
where they have sanity.
No, I think you need to get with the program at that point. Just how I've.
So we'll get into. It's okay for the government to force you to take an experimental
I might
medical
not agree
vaccine.
with it. I'm just saying that it's
against the.
So you would just be okay with that player just sitting out 82 games? Or
No, I'd trade him. If I was in Toronto, I'd have to trade him. I'd have to get him. I'd get to get him out of there because of the stupid laws of Canada. That's what I would do.
I don't. It's at this point. It's just. It is what it is. It's one of those things in the world where it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, then why do you have to call these guys out in this situation and not call out the ridiculousness of the rule? That's it's the same thing with Kyrie Irving.
Because the Red Sox blew the game.
Because they blew the game, and blowing a baseball game is much more important than your personal health and your personal choice to not take the jab. I'm sorry, I can't be on board with that, and I guess we're going to find out if the Rays are on board with
I'll
that.
tell you what, since we've had 4 minutes here of vaccine talk, this is a good sound.
Yeah, there you
right
go.
there.
Well, we waited till the end. There you go.
A good sound right there for you to wrap up.
And then Buster only says that the playoffs started today. The Red Sox would face the Blue Jays in Toronto. And there you go. All right, we'll be on social media the rest of the day reacting to Mayor Welch's big nothing burger today because the Rays will not commit to anything. We'll talk with you guys there as well. And we'll be back tomorrow with more fun and frivolity. Don't forget, you can subscribe on YouTube. You can subscribe on Apple and Spotify to the podcast. And, of course, FanStream Sports, download the app, all one word. Have a great day, everybody. Go Rays.